Hello and welcome. It is the end of the 14th day of April 2019. My name is Derek, and it's also the start of the 15th day after midnight of the on the 14th, and it's also the start of the 15th week of the year 2019. Now, that only happens once a year when you start your 15th week off, and then for the first time ever this year, we'll have the 16th week start the following week. Whatever. 1 minute time frame for Litecoin. Interesting move as it was going up. In 5 minutes, it was going up even more. So look at that. Just beautiful. Okay, as a trader, I'm going to be biased or cheer for a team like I would like on a sports game and stuff like that. Of course, markets always do, they always do what they'll do, and I'll trade accordingly. But these moves going higher for Litecoin, well, that technically is a better thing for me, especially because along this rally, I have really been short selling, as I call it. Short selling is defined for me, not in shorting the market for it to go down, but selling less of a quantity when these prices go higher than I technically would want to. Thus, when they go even higher, I could allocate extra coins to sell at the higher prices. That's the whole reason why I'm doing such in the 1 hour time frame. Just remarkably nice, as it had this break above this level of resistance, and I like how boom we got nice three green candle up, and this is just the start of a new hour. We're just 8 minutes and change into it as I'm broadcasting this at a little after 8 p.m. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania time or Eastern time. I'm nowhere near Pittsburgh. I've only ever been there once as like a stop, like a pit stop on a flight. So I've actually never really ever been in Pittsburgh, but I'm sure it's a nice town or city. It's actually a city probably. To me, anything that's under 1 million people is a town. All right, so we have this level of resistance here that it broke by. Had your little down move, and now that you got above it, resistance is being established. And this is a correctionary move that's successful. You have this in here. First little down move, but it comes back to where it came from. Now that time has been an element, it rematches the move, but it still has a good retracement from point A low and point B high, but it does that. It has its correctionary move, thus getting above here. What I'll be looking for, maybe it'll break out, but I'd be looking for it to hold somewhere higher than at or higher than 8150, where it came from. Uh, that's what I'd like to see it hold, but it could break above it, and that wouldn't surprise me. I'm going to switch this over to the Poloniex exchange against the Tether. For that is where I have my Fibonacci lines and a whole bunch of penny numbers in here. I mean, these last numbers, the 818, they are super not important. Okay, so the daily chart for this, nice correctionary move back down to the 18 lows. This few days hanging in there, camping and doing all that fun stuff, and on its way to a journey to this 18. Band is working towards flattening it. If it's unable to break above this, yeah, this is a flattening band. But getting out above here, this is 85 and 3/4. So seeing a hold and stay above it, seeing action getting up to like 89.90 should give us good reason that there's that breaking 100 should be in play. And going past 100 to me is the next target, which is would be a pierce above $126.50. 0.6169999 cents. And I find it remarkable how there are other vloggers on here in social media who have Patreon accounts with more subscribers there by far than will watch a random one of my videos, or I'll get like 100, 200 views. And to sell here at 25, and what do I talk on my channel about buying below the 18? Yes, do you buy here back when it was going down to 77? Well, yeah, it was a buying spot. I didn't get much of a gain, and then it had another leg lower and another buying spot. And then as it was breaking below 39, 38, all of these spots to its bottom were buying spots. And well, now we're entering into selling spots. And like I've been saying, I have been short selling, and And you know what? When I heard that at the point, I'm thinking, you know what? This is almost that classic point when do you think the most bullish person in the world is talking about these, like, I'm just going to hodl this and these coins are not leaving. And then that comes in because of how scary this looks. And yeah, that looks like a 38.2% nice Fibonacci move. But anyway, throwing that aside, to me, I thought, okay, well, in these areas, I remember saying in one of the videos, I end up selling like 20%, 25% of the Litecoin that I normally would, which is the first move of the short selling. And then even on the way higher in here, because I was looking at this a while back and I thought, yeah, this looks like a good chance we might have a move that's painting out as it is right now for a relatively fast one to breaking above 125. So there is a spot where I'm probably going to be selling more aggressively than normal. Will I sell it against the US dollar for retracement? Probably not, because I don't need to. In that I can gain my portfolio by flipping back and forth within cryptos to cryptos. But the next chart that I'm focused on, and I know if it goes here will probably be increase as well, will be the Litecoin against Bitcoin. And I've added a few Fibonacci lines in here, which I'm going to talk about as I shorten this out. But on the weekly chart, it's in the key area for where it came from, this upper end congestion area. But for me, I do think it's going to at least come to this point. And I really don't know what it's going to do here. In that, how confident am I as a trader that I can sell very aggressively here, realizing that my risk is the situation that it doesn't find resistance there, thus it goes to like the 0.033-ish or higher type number. Or even it does find resistance, but it doesn't go down much. Corrects through time. Maybe it comes back to like the 150 handle or something like that, or 140 as its highest. And if I'm going to make aggressive sells, I'm going to be looking for some of them, or even a good portion of them, for even 50% retracements. Thus, selling aggressively at 375 means buying back here where we stand at this point better than a 50% decline. And if it goes to 375 and retraces back, coming back here, like, yeah, of course. If that's where the high is going to be, markets go up, markets go down. Right now, it's going up. No signs yet that it's stopped doing so. And again, because it's well above the 18, it's got a long ways to go to revert the trend. At some point it will, but again, really no signs showing yet for that to be the case. Right now it's having a resistance test, so it's coming soon to a very short-term sell spot, as we're going to see as we go to the 4 hour, 1 hour, and so on and so forth. It's already came back to this large level of previous resistance, spending many days in here, spending about 4 days in this general area, or up until today. Now it's left that area. It's now in the 18. It's let's take a look at this because you need to see more data to explain it better. It broke above this level of resistance in here. The 18 was solid for that, as it first managed to establish a level of support here, but then technically it would have been here because it didn't have its correctionary move to this point. So a decent leg lower here within what was a bull market. And then it was, okay, 18's declining heavily, decent size leg lower again from this point. Which, when you're looking for spots, to me, when you're buying and selling amongst stuff like that, where's the key area? Because the way I look at it is the early spots in here is where you don't want to buy. And as you can see, why? Because it came down in here. It's going to be a decent leg lower. After this leg in here, we got from here. And I mean, if you bought in here, you can see that it came just down a bit more again. So therefore, as this was breaking out above into different levels, would I want to be a seller at this point? Well, it's back to where it came from. So yes, in this area, in a small pierce above. But if it's going to go up to, say, 167 and it just keeps going, I don't want to sell anymore. Not until we have a move closer to 1733. Or I don't want to sell until there's a good leg higher than this. So that might be up to, say, 166. And then if it's not going to go down after a good move, then it's going to be wild volatility. I'll just wait for like each time it has a good play. Oh, okay, it keeps going up. I'll sell some at 174. Oh, it keeps going up. I'll sell some near 190. Stuff like that is one of the ways I generally look at it. But yeah, if you have a key level of support or resistance and it's going to break it, expect it to be a good leg extra. So that's why in here, most certainly if I think this is resistance, I wouldn't be surprised if it's breaking 166. Let's take a look further at the single hour term, and there was all these levels here that just got totally taken out, which tells you a fast move to the next level, which we got in here. And the Fibonacci on such is from this low to this high. So now let's adjust it. So yeah, so 173 short term is in this. Let's pick away at this low here, which is the 1341, and this high of 1891. So therefore, the 38.2% down, or the lower Fibonacci line, comes in at 1529. I guess it kind of hit. And when I say kinda, definitely did. The next one above it, which would represent a 61.8% level, is in that of 1658. So it seems as if that's probably what's going to happen, is it will come up towards this level. 166 really does look so probable to come in as the next level. And then I call it a now what question mark situation. What are we going to do? We're going to talk about the 76.4 if it breaks above that. If you're curious to that number, that's 17 and 4 ninths. That would be the next area I'd be looking for it to go to. And then if we don't find resistance there, previous high, and then not finding resistance there, we're talking about making that spectacular breakout here on the daily time frame, because getting and holding and staying above here, and we're talking about hitting the 22 handle. I would think the 22 to 23 mark next, where I'd be more of an aggressive seller. But I got patterns, or as I look at this on the longer term time frame, it's one of those ones where the levels up to about the like 32, 33 represents these highs in here where it started, and this one in here. This is legit high, by the way, for where price action actually was, and therefore that stops the area where it's level 1 of 3 in selling. I'll sell even a little bit higher once we start talking about hitting the 4 to about the 7.5 handle. That's the level 2 of 3. And then the highest level, breaking that, getting close to like 0.08 and higher. I would be very surprised if it could even hold. I would be surprised if it even got to 0.2, 0.25. But if it's able to get up to like 0.11, 0.12, 0.14, just aggressively sell, because I don't think it's going to stay up there. I would probably be at the point, instead of owning a few hundred, a few dozen of them kind of deal. And that's where I'd work. And then if that's the case, I would love it if I could say now, okay, I have a few hundred of them. And then later, yeah, I got a few dozen of them. And then later after that, it comes back down. Yeah, I got over 1,000. That would be nice to say. And when I say over 1,000, it'd be well over 1,000. Moving on to Bitcoin, BTC, which on its daily term, since its high up towards 55, what has happened? Well, it declined to the 18 highs, and then it hit its lows and at $4,902. Pauses the next day, and a pause day is just not really doing anything, just staying where it was, maybe a little above, little below, a little above, and low volatile trading, which exactly was the case. And today's session, which was Sunday, was a 1.9.4% up day. That's piercing above this rising 18 average of highs. And if you, I mean, just seeing the prices in here from this pattern and how this plays out, I would be very optimistic that this thing is ready to go, and thus have a test of the 6,300 area. Because when we look at this, look at all of this major previous history at the level of around, well, I guess we'll call it like 4,500 up to like 5,500, because, well, back in here, there wasn't any really. And markets didn't go that way before when it was going down. So there was some in here, I guess. I mean, Not really. There's not much history at this price. And that to me it tells me that the probability odds are just even not less of a surprise, more probable that this is happening, and thus the move to the 63. Because as I was feeling within this market, I felt regardless of whether this low come in at 3,000, which is what I've been calling, and it came in a hair above. So I guess I was technically wrong with the call, especially when Pierce extras are a hit, and even a better hit for that matter, because you can buy cheaper. But throwing that aside, uh, after this 30, if the weather went here, whether it went down to 24, even if it went down to 14 or even 1,000, we're coming back to where we came from. And as it plays, I wouldn't be surprised if this happens this week. Even in the next 24 hours is not a surprise because of how strong that the daily chart is being portrayed right now. On the single hour chart, we can see here that it's broken this level of resistance. I'm going to change this exchange to Bitstamp because I put some fib lines in earlier this morning. And within it, it was congesting along with this area after having the support in here. Several amount of periods in here. This is April 12th, 6 hours, until April 14th, 17 hours. So 11 plus 48, 59 periods of just congesting and doing this stuff. And it concluded the last four of those 59 gave you a lot of movement to say, oh, what's the probability odds soon that we're going to have this? I put a video earlier saying it looks like we might have a good day. So I even came out and stated it, but I hate to take credit when I'm right, and I don't even take much credit when I'm wrong because the market does what it does, and I'm just going to do the best that I can to give myself the best advantage as that of a trader. Okay, so let's talk about altcoins because what I'm going to do is I've decided let's just for fun, just for fun, let's put in 0.03 Bitcoin worth, and I sold it from Litecoin. And what we'll do is buy two coins and then just trade them against each other, realizing I'll never need to deposit anything more on these two coins. That my and I'm just going to go back and forth. And the first one I'm going to talk about is flow. I don't even know yet if I've bought it because I put a buy order in, not too deep, and we'll see if that comes in. And it looks like it should be close. This is the 1 hour time frame. Okay, did this, let me just check. 1745, I think I'm in that area. Well, not really, 1722. Right in here. And technically, I guess you go 1712 in that area. Let me just see if I can buy it now near this price. The ask is 1763, but it only takes 0.1 to get it down to 22 right now. So I'm just going to let it ride in here. That's still more than 1% away. So I can still get, and technically it's even another couple over 1% here. So that's like 3% of a difference just from that to that. So I'm going to let it ride. And I'm even going conservative here because I could probably even consider going down towards the 17 handle. Let me just see if I think I will. So therefore, let's put a line in. 1701. Okay, sorry about that. That is where my new buy order is. Don't know what I'm going to trade it with. What I was looking at earlier was TTC. Problem is that their wallets are offline. And you know what? For my decision of what I'm going to do, that shouldn't be a big deal at all. But I mean, I do love these movements. I'm probably... Let me know. I might take something else, but... Because this is like just like a whatever coin. It's just started. It's got good volatility, at least in the early sessions. And the whole point of it is trading two against each other. So I would divide one coin's ratio by the other and wait for 30, 40-ish kind of percent moves. Well, 30, minimum 25, 30% moves against the ratio and then buy and sell accordingly. Now, one thing I've been talking about is putting coins in the hardware wallet where, okay, Litecoin and DGB, I don't need any on the exchange. And now, okay, if Litecoin keeps going up, I might have to take some Litecoin from my wallet, send it to, say, Poloniex, sell it for Bitcoin, buy DGB, write down in a spreadsheet how many the ratio or how many I traded, and then send my DGB to the hardware. Just keep on doing that until that's just how I'll do it. Trading, exchange, withdrawal fees are low enough where it's so profitable to do, and I'd rather not have the coins on the exchange. But let's talk about risk reward on that, because how I'm doing this is I'm putting 0.015 into two coins, or starting with 0.03, which isn't that much for me. And I'm going to keep them on the exchange, and by doing so, the positives for having on exchange is, let's say, assume I'm in now. What I'm going to do is I'd put a sell order for TTC, and I put it, again, I'm looking for at least 30% moves. And on an order, I'd want even closer to 50%. So I'd probably put an order to sell in somewhere around here. And then if it sells, and then what's going to happen is, okay, I'll get the Bitcoin for what I sold. I'll buy whatever that other coin is, say Flow as an example, and then document and then wait for the next transaction. Now, if it stayed up there, I would do that. Now, if it went up and did that instantly, I would probably just buy the majority of it back on TTC and buy like 10%, 15% of what maybe 20% of what I sold on the other coin. Meaning, okay, I sold say I sold 100 whatever here. I don't know. That's not much either. Whatever. So it might even be that because I'm not playing with much. So say I sell 100 here, and I can buy back, we'll say 140 or something, 150. Then I might just buy back, say 130 or something, 125, 120, and then whatever's left amongst that Bitcoin, I'll buy the other coin. Different spots like that, but do the orders that way, where maybe I would allocate maybe for a move like this, maybe 30%, 25, maybe 25% even. I would think quickly 25% of my funds that I own in TTC, I'd put a sell order there. And then for the positive and having coins on exchanges, I can do what I call an upper. And I don't mean that as far as what some of the drugs are. You got an upper and a lower. A lower, I guess that'd be a downer on the drug term, but I call it a lower here. I mean, that's having a buy order at like 1,000 or 800 or 600 or something. That's a downer or lower. Yeah, I guess downer would work too. An upper is having a sell order at like 8,000, 9,000, 12,000, 14,000 and selling everything, whatever you got left. If I have a sell order at 14,000 and it has one of those insane moves where it goes to 80,000 and it never ever even goes back down to that number, so be it. I'm still profiting when I'm buying it at 22 and selling it at like that insane number. But more times than not, if I'm going to hit it, it's going to look like a candle, something like, this would be shaded in, probably green, maybe red though. And it'd be like one of those big moves like that, where it's like, sweet profit deal. You can just make an insane buyback trade, creatively how you want within your coins. So that's the advantage of having them on the exchange that way. Another advantage is they're always there ready to go when you need them. None of this having, maybe the wallets are offline when you need to make a move. Maybe you have to wait for the confirmation time. Even a 10-minute wait can come into problematic situations. No, on the flip side, it can work out well because maybe this thing is going up and it's up to say in here it's say 41.62 and like, oh, I got to sell. And if you had them, you would just sell at 41.62. Okay, just that was an accidental push on my keyboard. So you accidentally sell at 41.60. No, not accidentally. You sell at 41.62. I accidentally pushed that button. That's why I probably said that. But you sell there and it's done. But if I'm like looking at it, oh, let's do my deposit. Let's check the first few letters, last few letters of my address, confirm my trade. Okay, 4 minutes later, 6 minutes later, you see it's got one confirmation. You need I don't know how many, and then 20 minutes later, it's available, and that price could be back down to 33 at that point, but it could also be at 55. So it can work out on both situations. And you'd be like, if it's at 55, like, oh man, how lucky I was that I didn't have the coins on me. What a better deal. Or how unlucky I was if it came down to 33, that I noticed it at a great sell point, happened to be at a top, and that's common when you get big explosive moves, that high volatility is going to come within the many minutes thereafter. And if things like this are going to happen with moving on to DGB, and well, this is going to go down and Litecoin's going to go up, well, then I'm going to take some Litecoin and sell it for DGB, and just keep on doing this over and over and over again. And the more you do it, the more coins you can gain within it. Because if this ratio goes up to like 7, 8,000 and then goes back down to like 6, 5, 4,000, well, that I can make profit on that. And I've talked a lot about in this channel how that would be the case. And taking the ratio, right now it's at about 6,500. I'm not going to make a trade unless it goes to like well over 7,000, 72, 73. My last trade was 6,400. So I'm just barely above where it was before. And I almost made the flip beforehand, and I wish I would have now. But you know what? So be it for what would have been like a 12% move, 13% move. But I was going to, when this was in this 260 or so area, I was thinking about taking some DGB, selling it for Litecoin, and I mean, it would have been just a tiny gain. Now on to GRS, and the ratio against DGB is about 35.83. I want to get that above 40, 42, where I'll take some of my GRS and then sell it for Bitcoin, then buy some DGB back. And that is two coins I put together because I just love these movements that this coin has. Really, that to me is all I need to show. I like how it's holding a higher high, higher low, and I love its up and down dips that it has. And now, who let the dojis out? Who let the dogs out? Okay, whatever on DOG. It had to move up here back to the 18. I wouldn't mind a move back up again and get some sell orders in. But when you have these moves, if you're able to sell in here, well, you're able to buy back cheaper. And if you're able to buy back cheaper, I'll be looking to sell again as it gets to this point. To me, this is like an easy market move. It's just going side. Like the lower end of this is like the, 24, 20, 30. But it hasn't been anywhere near there for several months, as it hasn't been. Last time it's been at 38 now was last August. But it easily could still go there. So the low end to me is like 35, and anything below, that's would be like heavy accumulation. 40 to about like 68 or so, 70 is neutrality, and then above that like 71 all the way up to like 118 is distribution mode, and anything above that is super distribution. Test of can actually go above, make new highs, hold. I mean, if this thing has a move up to like 300, then maybe it has the potential to come back and hold and stay above 80 for a significant period of time. And I would like to see that happen. That would be a nice thing where it just comes up to 3, pulls back down to 80, and even come down to 56, and then maybe up to 200, and then find a way to maybe come back down, and this time hold and stay above maybe 100 for maybe, and do something like this. And then while it's at 100, maybe you have a move to 250, back down to 140, up to like 209, back down to 100, and then maybe up to 300 again. Those are the types of things I kind of hope for. And let's finish this off with an Ethereum against Bitcoin. And you have the point A low, which is like a lot of coins in December, and here against the 0.024 handle. When we have this high at the 42 mark. Well, what's been going on since then? Well, it corrected 61.8% and has not been there since. Pierce above here. Look, that's a big one when we look at the story. Then it manages, after resisting here, to have a good gain here, support this for several periods, but this attempt here obviously failed, and it is now, since instead of supporting it, has resisted this line and has retraced a little bit lower, but it's higher than here. 18 still holding in. And things are getting really symmetrical because you have this high, and then you make a higher low, and then you make a lower high, and yes, you have a higher low, lower low, but overall this low is higher than this, so we'll say the higher low. And then this multiple hit resistance here, first at like 36, then we have again at 35.6, and then again twice at 35.4. So low, basically a little lower. And that's why I wouldn't be surprised if the next key low would be like around like above here, and the next key high would be below this. But it's symmetrical. A lot. It might take many days for it to end. Maybe, and it could happen instantly. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're into May and we're still playing around within this range from the three handle to really the 35. Okay, that will do it. Let me just do a quick Litecoin update to finish this video off. And not much still going on. It came in here, barely breaking above this, spending many periods up along this high. Did have this little short. I mean, this is all 1 minute stuff. You come up to this the breakdown below here, resisting this, still resistance. So short term, this is definitely a bear market, a new one, but it's a 1 minute chart. And by the time you're watching this, it's probably turned into a sideways and then a bull market and then maybe another bear market. And you got to figure how many times in a week does this on the 1 minute chart change back and forth. I don't know why I just said that, but enjoy your 15th week of 2019 and have yourself a great day as well. Bye bye.